All right, so welcome to This Week in Housing. We're going to just roll with it. We don't really have a formula. We're just learning this as we go, so join us as we figure this out. Michael, what do you think? Sound good to you?
So, yeah, that's good. Last week we talked about some statistics and what that means for our local community here in Northwest Georgia. So this week we've decided to mix it up a little and not bore you with statistics. If you want those stats, we'll be happy to send them to you. So not a big deal. We will send them to you. Just reach out to us, comment below, send us an email, however you want to communicate with us, get that information to us. We will be happy to send you the stats. So this week, we're just going to roll with the headlines in real estate and kind of tell you what that means for our local community and what we think about it. So with that, Corey, lead off. What do you have here?
Let's see what we got. And Michael, you have not, you don't even know what I'm going to ask you, do you?
I have not seen the headlines that you were about to read, no. Or at least not in this format. Now, I may have read them somewhere else, but let's see what you got.
Housing advocates warn of impending crisis for tenants as eviction bans unemployment benefits end.
Oh my. Sounds terrible.
It
Ominous
sounds awful.
even. Yeah. All right, so I would say that locally, let's start there. Dalton, Whitfield County, we really haven't had a problem with the eviction moratorium because most of our people have been employed. And one of the reasons that you would file that document that says, hey, I don't need to be evicted is because COVID has affected my income, my ability to earn money. So to us locally, I just don't see that being a big deal. I mean, we have a property management company. We manage dozens of tenants, and it's been months since we've even had the conversation. So,
Yeah, I hear a lot more about that on social media than face-to-face in our community, for sure.
Yeah, for our community, I don't think it's a big deal. Now, if you live in downtown Chicago or downtown LA or one of those places, maybe it's a bigger deal. Locally speaking, it doesn't feel like a big deal at all. If you want a job in this town, that is certainly easy to find.
Absolutely.
You can walk down this street here and you will see a now hiring sign, and probably with a bigger number on it than you've ever seen in the past.
You will see more than one.
Oh, true, yeah, many. All right, so there's eviction moratorium. What's the next headline?
Keller Williams distributes grants, supplies to agents impacted by Ida.
All right, Ida, the big hurricane that came through and disrupted New Orleans pretty significantly, it looked like, from what I saw on the news. So Keller Williams supplies or distributes grants. So yes, Keller Williams absolutely cares about humanity at large and other agents in their ecosphere. And as a matter of fact, there's an entire division of Keller Williams called KW Cares. And every May the 9th, 10th, 12th, somewhere around in there, we all as agents stop at Keller Williams and don't work for an entire day, and we go give back to the community. It's called Red Day. There are certainly videos online that you can find where we do things like give back to the community. So not a shocker at all that Keller distributes grants and supplies to agents impacted by Ida. That is a common thing for us.
We stay in that porch. What was that facility called? It's slipping my mind.
The Grace and Joy House.
Yes.
That's where we participated in Red Day this past year. Yeah, we stained a porch, and then we didn't do that great of a job staining it. So
Good enough.
We hired a professional to come back and do it better later.
If you just drove by though.
If you drove by, it would be amazing. Right. If you walked on it, you realized that we needed to hire a professional, which we didn't. We did a good base coat.
Have you gone back and looked? Is it good?
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I went back and walked around and talked to the director. It was amazing.
Let's see what else we got. Biden's affordable housing plan.
Wait. Before you even go any further, I get the chance to pass if I want. I may not want to answer.
Nope.
No passing. Okay.
Not here.
Okay, here we go. Let's hear it.
No passing. Biden's affordable housing plan doesn't address how supply will be brought to market. Real estate expert. I don't know.
Okay, so Biden's affordable housing plan. That's going to assume that I know a little bit about Biden's affordable housing plan.
But you can't pass, so you just got to...
I do know a little. Doesn't address how supply will be brought to market. Okay, so I have heard Biden talk about a first-time home buyer credit, kind of like we had in the 07, 08, 09 time frame. So I've heard him discuss that. I read on the website for the campaign that he did want to institute some sort of $10,000, $15,000 credit for a first-time home buyer. So that would help from an affordable housing standpoint of giving them more money so that they can afford to buy.
Sure.
But the real headline, I guess the question is, how does supply get brought to the market? The information I've gotten from that comment or that headline about affordable housing plan, I read through it, and there really is nothing about picking up a hammer and putting a nail into a board and creating a house. There was no incentive for a builder to say, hey, the government's going to give you $5,000 to build a house if you will build it under $200,000. Like we didn't see that in the plan. So I think that headline is probably accurate. It doesn't address how we get more supply, right? One way that you can get more supply is to change the zoning laws, right? So here in Whitfield County, this is a perfect example of something I've had to deal with. We've got a piece of property that's 6 acres. It has 3 homes on it. One of those homes was a mobile home, and it got repossessed. We didn't own the mobile home because it was a personal property title, right? So that person didn't pay the fee or the mortgage payment on her personal property, which was a mobile home. So they got repossessed. So they pulled that mobile home off. So I tried to get a permit to build a house back on that property. Couldn't do it. Our zoning laws won't let us build a house back where there is septic and water and power and all that. We can put a mobile home back.
What was the reasoning?
Can't put a house back. I didn't get
no clear answer.
I didn't get a good one. The reasoning is that, well, that's not what the law says. we can't do that. That's against the law. So it's like, okay, well then I guess we'll put a mobile home back, which is essentially what we had to do. So now there's yet another piece of personal property tied to the real estate, which doesn't help us as far as affordable housing goes. It helps in a rental situation, right? The other thing is you could allow ADUs, additional dwelling units. If you have a single family zoning and you're not allowed to build 2 structures on the same property, then you could do what's called an additional dwelling unit. California has passed that law where California, you can do that. You can put a mother-in-law suite in your backyard, and it's not against the zoning laws, right? You do get into some questions about how do you finance it, those kinds of things, but that is one example of a way to solve some supply with affordable housing. Right now we talk about all these developments and how big the lot has to be and all those kinds of things. So if there is a sewer access, you could put 2 houses on one lot. That solves affordable housing, right? Or at least it helps. I don't know that it solves it. Right. So those are my thoughts. What you got now?
Do one more.
Yeah.
Buying a starter home is cheaper than rent in 24 metro real estate markets.
Probably more than 24 metro markets, I would
yes,
bet, right?
I would say so.
Let me turn the microphone around and say, Corey, what do you think about that headline? Starter home cheaper than rent. Is that the case in Dalton and Whitfield, Murray County, in that area?
Yes. The first thing that comes out of someone's mouth when they're a first-time home buyer is, I figured out I could own a home cheaper than I could pay rent.
Absolutely.
That's the opening statement every single time.
Yeah, I see it in our own business. I've got a duplex that's, I think, about 750 square feet, so tiny house almost, right? The rent is $800 a month, and the mortgage payment on about $140,000 is about that same amount, right? So you get a nicer home that is yours for less money. It happens all the time in our area, so I think that headline is actually a little short. They could have gone probably bigger than 24 metro real estate markets.
I agree. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, what you're saying is anyone listening who wants to not be one of these people needs to call me or you or the guy not on the camera, and we'll fix that.
That's right. We have houses for sale. So as a matter of fact, let's talk about that for just a second. We do have 188 homes on the market today. In the Dalton MLS. So that's a much higher number. On June 14th, that was 74 homes. So more than double available now in the marketplace. Still short of where it needs to be, but we're getting there. So if you're renting and you're tired of paying rent and you have a decent credit report, then we could probably help you. We'll get you in touch with the right people to figure out if you can buy or not.
Absolutely.
All right. One more?
One more. We'll hit it.
All right. So here's a question I got.
Oh, let's do this one. Let's do this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Storage trumps housing in mid-market sales.
Oh, great. Now you're going to ask me a Trump question after the Biden question, right?
Is that what that is?
This is storage trumps housing. Come on, play with me.
I was like, man, did I just totally misinterpret that question?
Goodness, no. Storage trumps housing in mid-market sales. I have seen a ton of interest in mini storage lately. As a matter of fact, I bought one. But I have seen a ton of people ask about mini warehouse and the cap rate and the money that you make from mini warehouses.
Yeah.
The rules are a little different than residential, and honestly not as friendly for the landlord. Let me say that a little slower. I've seen rules and laws that almost make it a little bit more prohibitive. So I would say if you're going to get into the storage world, make sure you understand what you're getting into, because I was a little surprised by some of the things that I found out. I can evict a tenant faster than I can evict someone who's renting from my mini storage. Who knew?
Really?
Yeah, see, that's the same look I had when I read the law that states that. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Yeah.
Well, go on. Let's hear
Well, I
it.
sent it to the attorney that we work with, and I said, hey, am I reading this right? Like, do I have to give them a whole month? Like, for example, if you rent an apartment and you don't pay the rent and you are in violation of the lease, I can notify you immediately, give you 3 days to remedy the problem. If you don't remedy the problem, I can go file a dispossessory. 7 days goes by. If you don't respond to that dispossessory action, I get possession. Right? If you do respond, we schedule a court case. I still get possession after the court case. 7 days later, I get possession again. Minimum 30 days for the storage facility.
Wow.
How about that?
At what point do you get to keep their stuff?
After that 30 days, I suppose. We haven't had to deal with that yet. I just bought it, so, give me a minute. I'll let you know.
Are you excited about it?
Come back for episode 197 of This Week in Housing, and I'll tell you exactly what happened.
The potential to have somebody's stuff. How exciting.
I'm actually more interested in them just paying on time and keeping their stuff. I don't want stuff.
Could be gold in there. Yeah.
There could be. I'll take my chances with just taking the cash. Or if they want to pay in Bitcoin, I might allow that too. I don't know.
Solid. Dogecoin.
I don't know about that one.
Is not doing too good, I'm pretty sure. Bad idea.
That's This Week in Housing. I'm Michael. This is Corey. Signing off.
See ya.